Admiral John Harrison stood with his back straight and face expressionless as they brought the prisoners out. Inside, his heart pounded against his ribs like a hammer. The large viewing chamber of the Galactic Council headquarters on Nexus Prime was silent except for the shuffling of alien dignitaries and the soft hum of recording devices. Harrison counted 12 human prisoners in total. All wore tattered Earth Stellar Navy uniforms. Their hands were bound behind their backs with glowing energy restraints. Despite weeks of captivity, they walked with dignity. Harrison recognized Lieutenant Eric Daniels and Captain Lisa Morgan among them. Good officers, brave soldiers. "This is a violation of the interstellar conventions," Harrison said, his voice cutting through the quiet chamber. "These are prisoners of war entitled to protection under galactic law." Counselor Zixivar, the tall blue-skinned Arcturian who led the Galactic Council, turned his 4 eyes toward Harrison. His upper lip curled, in what Harrison had learned was an expression of contempt. "Your conventions mean nothing today, human," Zixivar said. "Your kind has pushed too far into council space. You were warned. These executions will serve as a reminder of who holds true power in this galaxy." Commander Olivia Reeves, Harrison's aide, stood beside him. Her hand brushed against his arm in warning. They had discussed what might happen here, but neither truly believed the council would go through with the executions. It was too extreme, too likely to provoke a response from Earth. "I must insist that you reconsider," Harrison said. "This action will have consequences." Zixivar made a dismissive gesture with one of his 4 arms. "What consequences? Your Earth vessels are primitive. Your weapons are centuries behind Council technology. We have tolerated your expansion because you amuse us, but that tolerance has ended." The prisoners were arranged in a line. Captain Morgan spotted Harrison and nodded slightly. Her face showed no fear, only resolve. Harrison felt a surge of pride even as his stomach twisted with dread. "Let the record show that Earth formally protests this action," Harrison said loudly, making sure his words were captured by the chamber's recording systems. "Any harm to these prisoners violates Council law and nullifies all existing treaties between Earth and Council worlds." Several alien representatives shifted uncomfortably. Not all Council species agreed with this extreme action. Harrison noted a Keldaran diplomat near the back of the chamber quickly exit through a side door. Potential allies for later, Harrison thought, if there was a later. "Begin," Zixivar ordered. 2 Draxes guards stepped forward, holding long staffs, tipped with crackling energy. Harrison had seen these weapons before in demonstrations. They disrupted neural patterns, causing instant death. The Draxes claimed it was painless. Harrison doubted that. "Wait," Captain Morgan called out suddenly. "As the ranking officer among the prisoners, I request the right to final words." Zixivar hesitated, then nodded. "Speak, human. Your last. Words will be recorded for posterity." Morgan stood taller, her eyes finding the camera drones floating above. "My name is Captain Lisa Morgan of the Earth Stellar Navy. To my family, my crew, and all citizens of Earth, we did our duty. We do not regret defending human interests against Council aggression. Remember us, but do not mourn long." She paused, then added with a clear, strong voice, "Earth endures." Harrison felt a chill at her words. They were the unofficial motto of Earth's military. A reminder that whatever happened to individual soldiers, humanity would continue. The other prisoners repeated it in unison. "Earth endures." Commander Reeves had her hand in her pocket. Harrison knew she was secretly recording everything with a quantum transmitter that would send the images directly to Earth, despite Council communication blocks. They had prepared for the worst, though hoping it wouldn't be necessary. The first Draxes guard approached Lieutenant Daniels. The young officer stared straight ahead, refusing to show fear. The guard pressed the energy staff against Daniels' chest. A flash of blue light erupted and Daniels collapsed to the ground. "Stop this," Harrison shouted, stepping forward only to be blocked by 2 guards. One by one, the prisoners were executed. Some closed their eyes. Others, like Captain Morgan, stared directly at Zixivar until the end. Harrison forced himself to watch every moment. He owed them that much. When it was over, 12 bodies lay on the chamber floor. HFY turned to Harrison. "Let this be a lesson, Admiral. Humans are not ready for the galactic stage. Return to your homeworld and deliver our message. Stay within your borders or face extinction." Harrison's hands shook with rage, but his voice remained steady. "You've made a terrible mistake, Counselor." HFY laughed, a harsh sound like stones grinding together. "Your species always overestimates itself. What could Earth possibly do against the combined might of the Council?" "You'll find out," Harrison said quietly. 30 minutes later, Harrison and Reeves were aboard their diplomatic vessel preparing to leave orbit. The small ship had been thoroughly searched by Council security, but they hadn't found the hidden transmitter. In the privacy of Harrison's cabin, Reeves pulled out the device. "Did it capture everything?" Harrison asked. Reeves nodded, her face pale. "Every second, transmission to Earth was successful. They'll see what happened here. All of Earth will see." "What will happen now, Admiral?" Reeves asked. Harrison looked out the viewport at the gleaming towers of Nexus Prime below. It was beautiful, the jewel of Council space. He wondered how long that beauty would last once Earth responded. Now? Now we go home and prepare for war. Harrison had served in Earth's military for 35 years. He had seen conflicts come and go, had helped negotiate 3 separate peace treaties with frontier worlds, but he had never seen anything like what had happened today. The Council had broken not just their own laws, but a fundamental principle of civilized space. The ship's engines rumbled to life as Harrison sent a direct message to Earth's President Catherine Wells. It contained just 3 words. They killed them. As the diplomatic vessel pulled away from Nexus Prime, Harrison looked once more at the planet below. The Council believed humans were weak, technologically inferior, easy to intimidate. They didn't know about the hidden fleets, the advanced weapons Earth had developed in secret. They didn't understand human nature, how the death of those 12 would unite Earth as nothing else could. "They think they've sent a message," Harrison said softly, "but they don't understand the response they'll receive." Reeves nodded grimly. "Earth endures. And remembers," Harrison added. "Earth endures and remembers." The United Earth Government Emergency Chamber was packed with representatives from every nation. The room, normally bright and open, felt heavy with tension. Giant screens displayed the faces of world leaders who couldn't attend in person. No, one spoke above a whisper as they waited. President Catherine Wells entered the chamber at exactly 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Her normally perfect appearance showed signs of strain. Dark circles shadowed her eyes and her short gray hair looked uncombed. She had not slept since receiving Admiral Harrison's transmission 3 days ago. General Frank Martinez followed closely behind her. His uniform was crisp, but his expression was hard as stone. He carried a data tablet that contained information only 5 people on Earth had seen. "Please be seated," President Wells said. Her voice, though quiet, carried throughout the chamber. "What I'm about to show you is difficult to watch. It was transmitted to us from Admiral Harrison's diplomatic vessel 3 days ago." She nodded. "To an aide, and the central display activated. The recording showed the Council chamber on Nexus Prime. It showed the 12 prisoners. It showed everything. Some representatives turned away during the executions. Others wept openly. A few sat motionless, their faces becoming as hard as General Martinez's. When the recording ended, the chamber remained silent for nearly a full minute. That was Lieutenant Eric Daniels, Captain Lisa Morgan, and 10 other Earth Stellar Navy personnel. President Wells said finally, "They were captured during a standard patrol near the Arcturus boundary. According to galactic law, according to the Council's own laws, they should have been treated as prisoners of war and returned to Earth during the next prisoner exchange." She placed both hands on the podium before her. "Instead, they were executed, without trial, as a message to Earth. A message that we are considered inferior, that our people's lives have no value to the Galactic Council." Secretary Alan Powell stood from his seat at the front row. The head of Earth's diplomatic corps was known for his calm manner and preference for peaceful solutions. "Madam President, this is clearly a terrible crime," Powell said. "But I must ask, have we attempted final diplomatic contact, perhaps through neutral species or—" "We have sent 17 separate communications through 7 different channels," General Martinez cut in. "The Council has blocked all of them. Their only response was to inform us that Earth vessels are now forbidden from traveling beyond our solar system." Powell paled. "They've confined us to our system?" "They've tried," President Wells said. "Admiral, Harrison's vessel barely escaped Nexus Prime. 2 Earth cargo ships have already been destroyed for violating the new quarantine of our system." Murmurs filled the chamber. Martinez activated his tablet, and a new image appeared on the central display, a star map showing Earth and the surrounding systems. "For the past 20 years, Martinez said, while publicly maintaining a policy of open cooperation with the Council, Earth has been quietly preparing for the possibility of conflict. We've established hidden bases in these systems." Red dots appeared on several star systems. "We've developed technologies that we've kept secret from the Council. Weapons, defense systems, and faster ships than they believe we possess." "Are you suggesting we go to war with the entire Galactic Council?" asked a representative from Brazil. "They have 1,000 member species. We are just one planet." "Not all Council members agree with this action," President Wells said. "Admiral, Harrison's report indicates several species representatives left the execution in protest. Our intelligence suggests the Council is not as united as they appear, and we are not as weak as they believe," Martinez added. "They think our technology is centuries behind theirs because that's what we've allowed them to see." President Wells stepped away from the podium and walked to the center of the chamber. She was not a tall woman, but in that moment she seemed to fill the room. "I have called you here not to ask if we should respond, but to inform you how we will respond. In 1 hour, I will address the people of Earth. I will show them what the Council has done, and I will announce that as of today, Earth is at war with the Galactic Council and any species that supports their actions against humanity." No one objected. Even Secretary Powell remained silent. "This will not be a war of revenge," Wells continued. "We are better than that. This will be a war to secure humanity's place among the stars and ensure that no Earth citizen can ever again be killed simply for being human." Within hours, the recording of the executions was shared with every human on Earth and in the colonies. Public rage was immediate and overwhelming. Recruitment centers for Earth's military were flooded with volunteers. Admiral Harrison arrived, back on Earth 5 days later. He went directly to the military command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. President Wells and General Martinez met him there. "It's begun," Martinez said as Harrison entered the secure briefing room. "Operation Distant Thunder is active. Our hidden fleets are moving into position." Harrison looked exhausted but relieved to be home. "The Council believes they've contained us. What's our first target?" Wells nodded to Martinez, who activated a holographic display showing a space station orbiting a distant planet. "This is the Arcturian military hub in the Proxima Centauri system," Martinez explained. "It coordinates all Council military activities near Earth space. Our intelligence suggests Councilor Zixvar personally ordered the blockade of our system from this station." "And they don't know we can reach it?" Harrison asked. "They think our fastest ships take 3 weeks to reach Proxima Centauri," Wells said. "They don't know about the quantum displacement drives. Captain Nicole Hayes and the EDS Retribution will arrive in 3 days, completely bypassing their early detection systems." Harrison studied the station schematics. "What are Captain Hayes's orders?" "Disable, not destroy," Martinez said firmly. "We capture the station intact, free any prisoners, and secure all intelligence data. We need to demonstrate that humans fight with honor, even against those who don't." President Wells moved to a window overlooking the command center floor below, where hundreds of military personnel worked at monitoring stations. Earth's response was already in motion. 3 weeks ago, they killed 12 of our people to send a message, she said quietly. Now we send our own message. They believed us weak. They will learn how wrong they were. Harrison nodded. Earth endures and fights back, Wells added, her eyes fixed on the stars visible through the armored skylight above. Earth endures and fights back. Captain Nicole Hayes stood on the bridge of the EDS Retribution, watching the stars blur as the quantum displacement drive engaged. The ship hummed with energy as it prepared to jump. This would be the first real combat test of Earth's most advanced warship. Quantum displacement in 30 seconds, Captain. Lieutenant Ryan Garcia reported from the tactical station. His fingers moved quickly over the controls, making final adjustments. Hayes nodded. All hands to battle stations. The Retribution was unlike any ship the Galactic Council had ever seen. From the outside, Earth vessels appeared bulky and slow, relying on outdated propulsion systems. But hidden within the Retribution's hull was technology Earth had developed in secret over decades. 20 seconds, Garcia counted down. Hayes thought of the execution video that every human had now seen. Garcia had been friends with Lieutenant Daniels. They had attended the academy together. When he had volunteered for this mission, Hayes had questioned whether his personal connection would affect his judgment. I need to be there, Captain, Garcia had told her. Not for revenge, for justice. 10 seconds. The bridge crew fell silent. Most had never experienced quantum displacement. The scientists had explained it wasn't actually faster than light travel, but rather a folding of space that allowed the ship to step from one point to another instantly. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. The stars outside the view screen twisted, stretched, and then snapped back into place. Where moments before there had been empty space, now a massive space station orbited a distant planet. The Arcturian military hub at Proxima Centauri. Displacement successful, Garcia reported, his voice steady despite the momentary disorientation all of them felt. We are inside their defensive perimeter. They haven't detected us yet. Hayes allowed herself a small smile. Begin Phase 1. The Retribution's stealth systems activated, rendering the ship nearly invisible to conventional sensors. 3 smaller craft launched silently from its lower bay. Strike teams away, Commander Ben Lloyd, the ship's executive officer, confirmed. Dr. Wright reports quantum disruptors are functioning at full capacity. Dr. Samuel Wright was the lead scientist behind much of Earth's hidden technology. He had insisted on joining this mission to monitor the performance of his inventions in actual combat conditions. Arcturian Station still shows no alert status, Garcia reported. Their communication channels are normal. They have no idea we're here. Hayes touched her command console. All units, this is Captain Hayes. Remember our orders. Disable, not destroy. We are here to demonstrate Earth's strength, but also our humanity. She turned to Lloyd. Begin Phase 2. Let's wake them up. The Retribution's forward batteries fired a precise burst of energy that struck the station's communication array. Simultaneously, the quantum disruptors activated, temporarily disabling the station's weapon systems. Alarms began flashing on Garcia's tactical display. They're responding, Captain. Trying to raise shields and power weapons. Neither is functioning. Open a channel, Hayes ordered. When the communications officer nodded, Hayes spoke clearly. Attention Arcturian military installation. This is Captain Nicole Hayes of the Earth Defense Ship Retribution. Your facility is now under our control. Your weapons are disabled. Your communications are cut off. You cannot call for help. She paused to let her words sink in. We are here in response to the illegal execution of Earth military personnel by order of the Galactic Council. We have no desire to harm your crew. Lower your remaining defenses and prepare to be boarded. For several moments, there was no response. Then a voice came through, speaking the common galactic language. Earth vessel, this is Station Commander Krell. Your presence here is impossible. You cannot have traveled from Earth so quickly. Hayes allowed herself another small smile. And yet, here we are. You have 5 minutes to surrender before we take more aggressive action. She closed the channel and turned to Garcia. Status of the strike teams. Teams 1 and 2 have breached the outer hull and are proceeding to the main computer core and the command center. Team 3 is heading for the detention area. Dr. Wright entered the bridge, his eyes wide with excitement. The quantum disruptors are performing beyond expectations, Captain. The Arcturians won't be able to bring their weapons online for at least 6 hours. Good work, Doctor, Hayes said, though I doubt we'll need that long. The minutes ticked by tensely. Hayes watched the tactical display as the strike teams moved efficiently through the station. There was some resistance, but the Earth soldiers were using non-lethal weapons wherever possible. Captain, Garcia called out suddenly. Team 3 reports they've found prisoners in the detention area. 23 humans and 41 aliens from non-council worlds. Hayes felt a surge of anger. The council claimed they held no more prisoners. Team 3 leader requests medical personnel, Garcia continued. Some prisoners show signs of torture. Send the medical team immediately, Hayes ordered. And document everything. I want evidence of what they've been doing here. Before the 5 minutes were up, Station Commander Krell contacted the Retribution again. Earth vessel, he said, his voice now trembling slightly. We surrender. Please cease your attack. Wise decision, Hayes replied. Prepare to receive boarding parties. Any resistance will be met with force. Within 2 hours, the Arcturian military hub was fully under Earth control. The Retribution's crew had suffered only minor injuries. All prisoners had been freed and were receiving medical attention. In the station's command center, Hayes met face-to-face with Commander Krell. The Arcturian officer was tall and imposing, but his 4 eyes couldn't hide his shock at how quickly his station had fallen. How is this possible? Krell demanded. Earthships are primitive, your weapons are basic, your people barely understand interstellar travel. Hayes regarded him coolly. Perhaps you should have considered that we might not have shown you everything we can do. Garcia approached, holding a data crystal. Captain, we've secured their central database. It contains deployment information for the entire Council defense network, including access codes. Hayes nodded. Send it to Earth Command immediately. She turned back to Krell. Commander, you and your officers will be transported to Earth as prisoners of war. You will be treated according to the interstellar conventions, unlike how your council treated our people. Krell's upper eyes blinked rapidly in what Hayes had learned was a sign of extreme distress in Arcturians. This is just one station, he said. The council controls thousands of worlds. You cannot hope to win. Hayes looked around at the command center, now staffed by Earth personnel. Outside the viewports, 3 more Earth ships had appeared, having followed the Retribution's quantum displacement path. This is just our first strike, she said. By now, similar operations are underway at 12 other Council military installations. We've been planning this for years while you believed us to be primitive and harmless. She stepped closer to the alien commander. Your Council made a critical mistake, Commander Krell. They thought they were sending a message by executing our people. Instead, they woke a sleeping giant. 6 months into the war, the Grand Council chamber on Nexus Prime was no longer a place of order and ceremony. Emergency lights cast harsh shadows across the faces of the gathered representatives. More than a third of the seats sat empty. Those species had either declared neutrality or secretly reached out to Earth for separate peace agreements. Councillor Zix Var pounded his fist on the central table. His blue skin had paled to a sickly gray. The stress of the failing war effort had taken its toll. How were we so wrong about them? He demanded of no one in particular. How could humans hide such technology from us for so long? The Kaldaran representative, Trell Knox, spoke up. His voice was calm, but his words were pointed. Perhaps we should have studied them more carefully before executing their soldiers. Several councillors murmured in agreement. The unity of the Council had fractured more with each passing week as Earth's forces pushed deeper into Council space. The humans have taken 17 of our military bases, reported the Draxus military commander. Our fleets cannot predict where they will strike next. Their quantum displacement technology makes our defense systems useless. We still outnumber them, Zixvar insisted. We control thousands of worlds. They are just one planet. A planet we severely underestimated, Trell Knox said. He rose from his seat. I move that the Council formally sue for peace with Earth. Zixvar's 4 eyes narrowed. Traitor, would you have us surrender to primitives? I would have us survive, Trell Knox replied. The humans have shown remarkable restraint. They have taken no civilian lives. They treat prisoners according to the conventions. They clearly want justice, not extermination. Leave if you are too weak to fight, Zixvar hissed. The Arcturians will never bow to humans. Trell Knox looked around the chamber at the other representatives. I speak now to all council species. The Kaldarans are withdrawing from this conflict. We will pursue separate peace negotiations with Earth. Any who wish to join us are welcome. 7 other representatives stood and left the chamber with Trell Knox. Zixvar watched them go, his hands trembling with rage. When they had gone, he turned to his most loyal supporters. Prepare the Omega Protocol. If we cannot defeat the humans, we will ensure they gain nothing from their victory. Halfway across the galaxy, Major William Parker sat in a small, dimly lit room on a neutral trading station. Across from him was Ambassador Trell Knox. Between them lay a data tablet showing the Council's defensive plans. This information is accurate? Parker asked, studying the display. Completely, Trell Knox confirmed. The Council is fracturing. 8 species, including mine, have officially withdrawn from the conflict. 6 more will announce their neutrality within days. Parker nodded. Earth intelligence had predicted this outcome, but having confirmation from such a high-ranking council member was valuable. What can you tell me about the Omega Protocol? Parker asked. Our sources have picked up mentions of it in intercepted communications. Trell Knox's expression darkened. It is a doomsday weapon. Zixvar had it built in secret, without full council approval. It can destabilize a star, causing it to go nova prematurely. Parker's blood ran cold. He would destroy an entire star system. He is desperate, Trell Knox said. The war goes poorly for him. His own people question his leadership. He believes if he cannot win, he can at least ensure Earth gains nothing. We need to inform Earth Command immediately, Parker said, reaching for his secure communicator. Where is this weapon? Hidden on Nexus Prime itself, Trell Knox replied. Beneath the council chambers, I can provide schematics. On the fringes of council space, a different kind of meeting was taking place. Councillor Mira Dex, whose father had been human, moved carefully through a crowded market on a border world. Her mixed heritage had made her an outcast in council society, but now it made her valuable. She spotted her contact sitting at a small cafe. Commander Olivia Reeves, now promoted after her return to Earth with Admiral Harrison, sipped a blue drink that steamed in the cold air. Commander, Mira said quietly as she sat down. Thank you for meeting me. Reeves nodded. Your information has been invaluable. You've saved many lives. I bring grave news, Mira said, her voice barely above a whisper. Zixvar is moving civilians to military installations. He plans to use them as shields against Earth attacks. Reeves's expression hardened. That violates every convention of warfare. He knows Earth forces have been careful to avoid civilian casualties, Mira explained. He hopes to use your morality against you. We need to evacuate those civilians before our next offensive, Reeves said. Can you help coordinate that? Mira nodded. There are many within council space who no longer support this war. We can create an underground network to move people to safety. Reeves reached across the table and squeezed Mira's hand. Thank you. Earth won't forget those who stood for peace. Back on Earth, Admiral John Harrison stood in the war room beneath the Rocky Mountains. The holographic display showed Earth forces advancing through council space. President Wells and General Martinez studied the map beside him. The council is falling apart faster than we predicted, Martinez said. Their military response is increasingly disorganized. That makes them more dangerous, not less, Harrison warned. Cornered animals fight most desperately. President Wells nodded. We've received disturbing intelligence about something called the Omega Protocol, a weapon that could destroy entire star systems. Our scientists are analyzing the data now, Martinez added. If confirmed, we'll need to accelerate our plans to capture Nexus Prime. Harrison studied the map. We're already preparing a special operation. Colonel Diane Peterson is assembling a team to infiltrate the council headquarters. Their primary Objective will be to capture Zixavar and the remaining council leadership, Wells said. But now they'll need to locate and disable this weapon as well. Harrison pointed to several locations on the map. We'll need diversionary attacks here and here to draw away their defensive forces, and we'll need to coordinate with Trell Knox and the other peace-seeking council members to evacuate civilians, Wells added. We didn't start this war to harm innocent lives. Martinez nodded in agreement. The final offensive begins in 3 days. If all goes according to plan, we'll have control of Nexus Prime within a week. And then? Harrison asked. President Wells looked at the 2 military leaders. And then we build a lasting peace, one that ensures no species can ever again execute prisoners of war without consequence. Harrison thought of the 12 executed soldiers whose deaths had started this conflict. Earth endures, he said quietly. And remembers, Wells added. But we also forgive and rebuild. That's what makes us human. Colonel Diane Peterson moved silently through the maintenance tunnels beneath the Galactic Council headquarters on Nexus Prime. Her 6-person team followed closely, their advanced stealth suits making them nearly invisible to Council security. Systems. Central chamber is 2 levels up, Lieutenant Jack Wilson whispered. The tech specialist studied the holographic map projected from his wrist device. Security is heaviest around the council meeting room. That's not our target, Peterson reminded him. We need to find the Omega Protocol device first. Their intelligence from Trell Knox had been precise. The Doomsday weapon was hidden in a secured laboratory 4 levels below the main council chambers. If activated, it would destabilize the Nexus Prime Star, causing it to explode and take the entire system with it. Team 2 reports they're in position near the council evacuation ships, Wilson said, touching his ear communicator. Admiral Harrison's fleet has engaged the defensive platforms in orbit. Peterson nodded. The timing was critical. Earth forces were attacking Nexus Prime from multiple directions, but this was not a full assault. Their goal was not to destroy the council capital, but to capture it intact, along with the council leaders responsible for the executions that had started the war. Life signs ahead, warned Sergeant Kelly, the team's scout. 2 guards outside a sealed door. Peterson signaled for the team to stop. Non-lethal takedown, she ordered. Remember our mission parameters. 2 team members moved forward with neural stunners. The guards dropped without raising an alarm. Wilson quickly bypassed the door's security system, and they entered a large laboratory filled with complex equipment. This is it, Wilson said, scanning the room. The Omega device is active. They've started the initialization sequence. Peterson felt her heart rate increase. How long do we have? 20 minutes before it reaches the point of no return, Wilson replied, moving to the central control panel. I'll need at least 15 to disable it safely. Get started, Peterson ordered. The rest of you secure the perimeter. While Wilson worked on the Doomsday device, Peterson contacted Team 2. We've found the Omega Protocol weapon. Wilson is disabling it now. What's your status? Council chamber is in chaos, came the reply from Captain Rogers. Most representatives are trying to evacuate. Zixavar and his inner circle are still inside, refusing to leave. They're waiting for the weapon to activate, Peterson realized. They must have escape pods we don't know about. 12 minutes, Wilson called out, his fingers moving rapidly over the controls. The system is fighting me. Peterson made a decision. Team 2, move on the council chamber now. Capture Zixavar and any leaders still with him. We can't let them escape. Above them, Earth's fleet had broken through the orbital defenses. Admiral John Harrison stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching as Nexus Prime grew larger in the view screen. All ships report minimal damage, his tactical officer reported. The Council fleet is in disarray. Many vessels are standing down or retreating. Harrison nodded. Maintain our position. No bombardment of the planet's surface under any circumstances. A communication officer turned from his station. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from Colonel Peterson's team. Put it through, Harrison ordered. Peterson's voice came through clearly. Admiral, we've located the Omega device. Lieutenant Wilson is working to disable it, but we have less than 10 minutes. Team 2 is moving to capture Zixavar now. Understood, Colonel, Harrison replied. Do you need reinforcements? Negative, sir. Additional personnel would only complicate the situation. Wilson needs quiet to concentrate. Harrison looked at the planet below. Millions of innocent beings lived on Nexus Prime, many of whom had opposed the Council's actions against Earth. He had promised President Wells that this would be a precise operation, not a revenge mission. All ships hold position, he ordered. Prepare emergency evacuation protocols just in case. In the council chamber, Captain Rogers and his team burst through the doors to find Zix Var and 3 other council leaders huddled around a communication terminal. Councilor Zix Var, Rogers announced, by authority of the United Earth Government, you are under arrest for war crimes against humanity. Zix Var's 4 eyes widened in shock. How did you get in here? The chamber is sealed. We had help, Rogers said. Behind him stood Councilor Mira Dex and several other council species representatives who had turned against Zix Var. Traitors, Zix Var hissed. It doesn't matter. Soon this entire system will be destroyed. You've lost. I wouldn't count on that, Rogers replied. We found your Omega device. Our people are disabling it now. For the first time, fear showed, clearly on Zix Var's face. He lunged for a hidden panel in the wall, but Rogers was faster. A neural stunner dropped the Arcturian leader to the floor. Back in the laboratory, Wilson let out a tense breath. Done. The device is disarmed. The star stabilization sequence is running. Peterson felt relief wash over her. Excellent work, Lieutenant. She touched her communicator. Admiral Harrison, the Omega device has been neutralized. Repeat. The threat is eliminated. Well done, Colonel, Harrison replied. Team 2 reports Zix Var and the other council leaders have been captured. The mission is a success. 3 days. Later, Admiral Harrison walked through the council chambers, now under Earth control. The place where 12 human soldiers had been executed was now the site of a temporary memorial. Harrison placed his hand on one of the markers bearing Captain Lisa Morgan's name. We did it, Captain, he said quietly. Justice, not revenge, just as you would have wanted. President Wells arrived later that day to address representatives from all species, council and non-council alike. The Grand Chamber was filled to capacity. Today marks the end of the war between Earth and the Galactic Council, she announced. But it also marks a new beginning. She gestured to where Zix Var and the other war criminals sat under guard. These individuals will stand trial for their crimes under a new Galactic Assembly Charter. No longer will any single species or group of species dominate others. All voices will be heard equally. Ambassador Trelnock stepped forward. The Kaldarans and 27 other former council species have already signed the charter. We look forward to a new era of cooperation and mutual respect. Earth did not seek this war, Wells continued. But now that it is over, we seek a lasting peace, one built on justice, equality, and the recognition that diversity makes us stronger, not weaker. 1 month later, on a hillside overlooking the Pacific Ocean on Earth, families gathered for a memorial service. 12 stone markers stood in a semicircle, one for each of the executed prisoners of war. Admiral Harrison and Commander Reeves stood with the families as President Wells unveiled a simple plaque. In memory of 12 brave souls whose sacrifice led to a more just galaxy, Wells read aloud. They did not die in vain. Harrison looked up at the sky, where ships from formerly hostile species now arrived as peaceful visitors. The new Galactic Assembly was taking shape, with Earth as a founding member. Earth endures, Harrison said, remembering the words Captain Morgan had spoken before her execution. And builds, Wells added, placing a hand on his shoulder. Earth endures and builds a better future for all species. In the distance, the sun set over the Pacific Ocean, casting golden light across the memorial. The war was over, justice had been served, and humanity had proven itself not just a force to be reckoned with, but a people worthy of respect.